everybody. Welcome to Friday morning, where we love to get together and talk about a happy tool that we can learn and we can use, and then that we can go off and practice so we are happier by the minute. We join here every Friday morning at 9 a.m. just to 9:30. We get in and out in half an hour. So I'm super excited that you're here. What are we going to talk about today? Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go. How to be less judgmental. By the way, you suck if you don't watch this. Just kidding. Obviously, that would be super judgmental of me to say that. So just kidding. Why do we do it? Okay, who here suffers with being judgmental? Right there on Instagram, let me know if you're watching live. And do you have issues with either judging people or feeling judged? So I do these little webinars every Friday morning because it's about something that I'm struggling with. So right now I am struggling with being super judgmental of like somebody who's driving that car. Why are they driving that car? Do they really need that car? Can't they use that money to go feed some hungry people? But like, why? Who am I to judge them? What does it matter? It is none of my business what they drive or what they do. So anyway, I really had to work on this and say, okay, I need to study it. I need to dig deeper. So this is why I'm here today. So why do we do it? Because we don't know a person well yet. We always do it right when we are just sizing somebody up. We cannot identify with a person's belief system, their values, or their behavior, so we judge them to feel better about that. We feel threatened because we lack our own confidence. That's a big one today. We're hard on each other because we're using each other as a launching pad out of our own perceived deficiency by our wonderful Brene Brown. That is so true. It's about our own deficiency. But again, let's dig deeper on that. So attributions, this is from Psychology Today. Attributions are thoughts we have about others that help us make sense of why they do the things they do. So there are two kinds of attributions. And again, it's a process to help us understand the cause of behavior. Sorry. So there's personality attributions, and they're about a person's character, and there's situational attributions, where we believe their behavior is due to something in their situation. Let me explain. Research has found that people tend to overestimate personality and underestimate the situation when making attributions, especially with people they don't know. So for example, a personality attribution is, well, they were just born greedy. Well, they are just selfish. They are just pathetic. They're just not kind. They are just think they're better than other people. A situational attribution says, you know what, they're probably cutting people off in the freeway because they're rushing to get somewhere really, really important. Or that person was short in line because they're having a really bad day. Maybe they got fired today. That person, isn't just like, we judge people who are really overweight and we say, well, they're just lazy and they just eat too much. But really, if we really get down to situational, we can say, it really is the food industry that is manipulating people, and it makes it really, really hard to control that. And so we just have empathy for people and the situation that they're in. We make attributions for people we know well and care about. When we make attributions for people we know and we care about, the tendency flips. So for example, we're way more likely to give someone the benefit of the doubt or consider their situation. They're probably just having a bad day when we know someone. And we're way more likely to make it a personality attribution if there's somebody that we don't know. Judgments are expectations based on pre-programmed mindsets and stories or scripts. They are programmed habits that we choose, yes, we choose to propagate. They are experience that we embed in, and they're information we surround ourselves. They might be old stories or old rules or old beliefs that come from, I don't know, maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents, maybe your religion or your culture. Maybe they're from this side of the tracks versus that side of the tracks. All of those are choices of beliefs. They're beliefs that we choose to make and keep going. We don't have to believe those. We can be different. This is a great little video by, it's actually an ad, and it's in another language, but I'm going to let you hear it and get myself out of the way.
It's easy to put people in boxes. There's us, and there's them. The high earners, and those just getting by. Those we trust, and those we try to avoid. There's the new Danes, and those who've always been here. The people from the countryside, and those who've never seen a cow. The religious, and the self-confident. There are those we share something with, and those we don't share anything with.
Velkommen. Jeg kommer til at stille jer nogle spørgsmål i dag. Nogle af dem kan godt være lidt personlige, men jeg håber, I vil svare ærligt på dem. Hvem herinde i rummet var klassens klovn?
Who in the room is the class clown? In case you can't read that. Look at all the different people who are coming up to the front.
Hvem er bonusforældre?
Who are step parents?
And then suddenly, there's us. We who believe in life after death. We who've seen UFOs. And all of us who love to dance. We who've been bullied. And we who've bullied others. And then there's us, the lucky ones who've had sex this past week. We who are broken-hearted. We who are madly in love. We who feel lonely. We who are bisexual. And we who acknowledge the courage of others. We who have found the meaning of life. And we who have saved lives. And then there's all of us who just love Denmark. So maybe there's more that brings us together than we think. TV2 Denmark.
Okay,
We share.
so it was an ad for Denmark, but it was absolutely, was that so amazing? What a great experiment, and it has been replayed over and over again, that bringing together of different people. All right, so let's get back to how we change it and what we do. So 5 things that judgments do of judging other people. It hurts other people. It definitely makes us feel worse about ourselves in the end. Like in the moment, it might make us feel better, like a little dopamine hit, but in the end, we don't feel good about ourselves for doing it. It perpetuates stereotypes. We do not want to be stereotyped. And why would we want to stereotype other people? Do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And it puts negativity into the world. If you're joining me here, then you believe in energy, and you believe that the energy that we put out is the energy that comes back to us. So we don't want to put that negativity into the world. And it encourages us to judge ourselves. If we are comparing, then we are comparing, and we are constantly putting ourselves either above or below somebody else. And we just don't need to do that. Judging someone does not define who they are. It defines who you are. There is a parable about a woman that came across a dog in the wilderness, and he was barking and barking and really ferocious, and she was really terrified and thinking, what an evil, horrible dog, and somebody should get rid of this dog. And as the wind blew the leaves away, she saw that his foot was caught in a trap. We do not know the suffering that is happening underneath, and that is what we have to take into consideration. So how to stop judging? Well, Leo from Zen Habits came up with something called the dual method. D is don't judge, just stop yourself in the moment, take a pause. Number 2, understand. Try to just be curious about somebody. Number 3, accept. There is no changing. There's no reason to change. So just accept. And number 4, the greatest of all, is love. And I know that that seems kind of trite, but at the same time, it really is something that you practice and that you think about and that you do. And you just, even if you don't feel it in the moment, like, oh, I'm so in love with that homeless person that just walked by me and dropped something on the ground, just send them love. It doesn't have to be deep, passionate, intimate love. It is just send them love. Send them a prayer that something good happens for them today. Don't judge. And don't blame yourself. This is from Barbara Markway. She gives us a list that I'm going to give you now. Don't blame yourself, because it really is instinctive. We are hardwired for survival to judge people, to know, are we better than, will we survive that person? Will we be kicked out of the tribe? But when we see a dog or a person that might bite us, literally or metaphorically, of course we feel threatened. And so instinctively we judge. But be mindful. Although judgment is a natural instinct, try to catch yourself before you speak, or before you, even as you say it in your head. Hit the pause button and think, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? You know what? I'll just send a little prayer. Just send a little prayer and say sorry to myself, and just move on. Let it come in and let it come out like a leaf in the wind. Depersonalize. When someone disagrees with us or somehow makes our life difficult, remember that it's typically not about us. It may be about their pain or their struggle or something they're, worried about. Why not give others the benefit of the doubt and just step away? Look for basic goodness. This takes practice, as our minds naturally scan for the negative. We are constantly looking in the bushes for something bad because we don't want it to eat us. And it is this prehistoric brain that we have in this modern world that we have to tame. And we tame it through tools that we learn and practice. If only our eyes saw souls instead of bodies, how very different our ideals of beauty would be. Ooh, a blank page. Repeat the mantras, just like me, or just like them. When someone cuts you off on the road, say, you know what? Just like them, I cut somebody off when I was trying to change the channel on my radio. I wasn't doing it very good. Or when I was really late and I really needed to get somewhere. Just like them, I did that. I snapped at somebody when I was in line waiting because I was tired. Just like them, I have done that too. Or just like me, they are just like me, and they are acting that way because they're having some situation that I can relate to. I can relate to being hungry, being tired, being frustrated, being angry, just like them. Reframe it. The Dalai Lama, the very famous and very well and wise Dalai Lama, says people take different roads seeking fulfillment and happiness. And just because they're not on your road doesn't mean they've gotten lost, or that they're wrong, or that they're worse than, or that you're better than. They're just on a different path. But everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants fulfillment and happiness and joy and to be loved. They're just on a different path, and it looks different than yours, and it might seem like it's on the other side of the world than yours. But remember, the planet keeps turning and the sun always shines on a different side. Educate yourself. When people do things that are annoying, they may have a hidden disability. I tell the story of my friend who has a child with autism, and it's very, very hard to wait in line for autistic children. And they were in line at the airport. There was no avoiding that. And their child was having a really hard time. And they actually had people turn around and say to them, "Can't you control your child?" And roll their eyes and huff and puff. And you really don't understand. And that child was clearly had a disability. Who are we to judge? Think of yourself in that situation and say, gosh, the best thing you can do for that parent is say, it's okay. We'll all get through this line. It's totally fine. Or try and tell the child a joke or a song, like do something to help them, because I promise you, no matter how annoyed and frustrated you are with that child, the mother is 10 times more horrified and frustrated and embarrassed, and they don't want to be, and they love their child, and there's nothing else that they can do. Never underestimate the pain of a person, because in all honesty, everyone is struggling. Some people are better at hiding it than others. From our very philosophical Will Smith, and that little card says, "You know my name, but you do not know my story." If we believe we are enough, again, it comes back to our own beliefs about ourselves. We don't believe we're enough, so we judge so that we can be one step higher, one step above them. If we believe that, if we believe we're enough, we don't need to judge anymore. But what we think of ourselves is much more important than what other people think of us. And by the way, you can't see that, but there's a little tag down there that says Happy Huddle number 21. This is number 28, and there are actually 27 before this that you can see at Happier by the Minute or on YouTube. They're all free, but all lessons on confidence, or all tools that you can use to feel happier, do something different in your life, to just be a little bit better, because when we know better, we do better. This is a picture of my son, and he was getting a manicure and a pedicure before his first day of school. And my 13-year-old niece leaned over to me and she said, "You can't let him go to school with nail polish on." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Because people will make fun of him." And I said, "That's okay. I'm not worried. I don't teach him to make decisions about what he will do and not do based on what other people will think of him or say, because it is none of his business what they think of him. It does not define him. It does not tell him what he should and should not do, because for all the people that think it's too feminine or it's wrong for a boy to get a mani-pedi and wear nail polish, there are 100 other people that think, who cares? It doesn't matter. That's awesome. So we don't know which people we're going to run into. So do what you want to do that feels good to you and that doesn't hurt other people. A little side note that a couple days later, he said, I really am not sure I wanted, black and white. I really wanted black and white, black and white. And I said, well, you can take it off with nail polish before school if you want. And he said, I probably should. This might make the other kids jealous. Why would I change that? Why would I narrow that? Why would I tarnish that child? Anyway, just my little story. There's a great book out there right now, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Subtlety by Mark Manson. But I'm going to give you a couple of the highlights. Subtlety number 1, not giving a F, is not about being indifferent. It just means you're comfortable with being different. Don't say F it to everything in life, just to the unimportant things and the things that you don't really care about. Subtlety number 2, do not give a F about adversity. You must first care about something more important than adversity. Subtlety number 3, whether you realize it or not, you are always choosing what you give an F about. The key is to gradually prune the things you care about so that you only give an F about the most important of occasions. if we are worried about what everybody is thinking about us, and if we are worried about what everybody else is doing or thinking or driving or wearing, we are not putting energy into the things that are way more important. Think about where you're giving your time, your energy. All of that space up there is valuable. What are you giving your real estate to? People will love you and people will hate you, and none of it will have anything to do with you. It is so true. Your opinion of me is none of my business. It's funny, I'm actually redoing this webinar because the first time I did it a couple weeks ago, oh my gosh, I had so many technical errors. I was trying to manage Facebook Live, which clearly I figured out, yay. But what I love is that I really screwed it up. And so I'm replaying it because I didn't have video, it didn't work, and I really wanted to get this message out. But when I finished it, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally screwed up. Isn't it awesome that I screwed up on one about judgment, and I'm not really freaking out or worried that people are gonna think that it was really bad and I'll never watch again? I just walked away saying, okay, what did I learn from that? How am I gonna do that differently? I can set up that differently. And then I'll redo it. Okay, here we are. And you know what? Actually, the second time around is even better. So we're going to learn from it. So don't worry about what other people are going to say or think. Just keep moving forward. Say what we see depends mainly on what we look for. Are you looking for the good in people? And by the way, are you looking for the good in yourself? There is good in you and there is good in other people. If you take away nothing from today or any of my huddles, take away that. There is good in you and there is good in other people. Be so busy improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. I love that one. Here is a great little video from Gabrielle Bernstein. I'm going to show you this one.
Why are we so divided? How did we get here? What is the way out? Deep down, we are all loving, kind, and compassionate beings. Yet our actions, the way we think, the way we communicate, the way we relate to ourselves and each other often brings us the opposite experience. Imagine how free you would be if you could shift your focus from judgment back to love. But at some point, most of us are told that we're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough, pretty enough. We start to see ourselves as apart from others. This separation makes us feel alone in the world. So we use judgment to protect ourselves against the pain and fear of being alone. We all have an inner activist that is demanding that we rise up to the presence of love within us. The most powerful way to respond to that call is to shift our inner life. We become more conscious on our social media feed and in our face-to-face conversations. We lead from a place of compassion and forgiveness. We become a better example for our children. I is beautiful. And each thought we have becomes a peaceful protest that energetically heals the epidemic of hate in this world. The miracle isn't that we give up judgment. The miracle is that we no longer believe in it.
Oh, I love that. Gabrielle Bernstein did that. I know there were not great sound on that, but anyway, there you go. You got the gist of it. So, all right. So where are we? Oh, next. My next slide. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not ready for that slide yet. Stop comparing. I love that little cartoon. Stop comparing yourself to others. You are awesome and they are awesome. We are all awesome. Everybody has something that we can give. Everybody has something, and they, again, have a story. It's just different than yours, and that's okay. So I'm actually ending early today. We do like to try to get in and out in half an hour, and sometimes I get you out in 25 minutes. That gives you an extra 5 minutes to go do something positive. Maybe it's to go follow me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, or Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and to share this with other people who you know are struggling with feeling judged, who are struggling with being judged. Find those people, share this with them, because there might be one little nugget that they take away that might change their day, change their perception of themselves, help them feel better about themselves, help them get through their day a little bit better. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I am here every Friday morning, Pacific time, 9 a.m. to 9:30. And if you want to see these again, replay, they are on happierbytheminute.com. They are also on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can find them. If you can't find them, email me, Stacy@happierbytheminute, and I will happily send it to you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really do appreciate it. And I will hope that you have an absolutely awesome day.